Onision? How the hell did you get my number?
You act like producing a quality video and getting views are exactly the same thing.
Oh my god, that video of me cutting just went viral.
The one from like 12th grade?
Yeah, it was just like 13 seconds of webcam footage and I already got $1,000 for it.
Those kinds of videos just promote self-harm and can trigger people.
Yeah, that's great and all, but do me a favor. Don't call my number again, please.
I'm the freak for what I wear.
Because while you live a lie, I'm honest about who I am and I show it proudly.
That makes me worse than what you are.
Okay, you're just being weird now. I'm gonna go, thanks. Well now, I guess I gotta do him. Oh boy, this is gonna be a lot of fun, isn't it? What have I gotten myself into?
Gregory Daniel Jackson, better known as Onision, is an American YouTube personality who primarily specializes in sketch comedy and vlog-style opinion pieces. He's garnered tons of praise and scorn, well, mostly scorn for his controversial views on religion, veganism, depression, abuse, and circumcision, among many other things. The official YouTube wiki describes him as YouTube's perfect villain, because he's always getting himself into some sort of trouble and stirring up controversy wherever he goes. But how did a 30-year-old man from Oregon grow to become one of the most controversial YouTubers of all time? Well, in order to find the answer to that question, we have to go all the way back to 1985. Not much is known about Greg's early life and upbringing, although it's heavily speculated he was born somewhere in Oregon due to the fact that he mentioned in a video he went to school there. Greg's parents divorced when he was just 2 years old, due to the fact that his father was charged with a sexual crime against a minor. This would go on to greatly impact Greg for the rest of his life, as his father was barely around due to the fact that he was a convicted pedophile. So he pretty much had no positive male role model in his life, or at least as far as I know of. His father actually tried to physically attack him when he was just 15 years old, although Greg kicked him in the chest to gain the upper hand. He went through bouts of depression and even contemplated killing himself numerous times throughout high school, although he eventually recovered from it and got through it. In August 2005, he married his first wife, ThatKidDouglas, and also created the cult website ThatKidDouglas.com, which is a religious cult he started when he was a teenager. Although he tries to sweep it under the rug and pretend it doesn't exist, it was actually rediscovered when some guy 827 mentioned it in a video, which then forced Onision to claim it as his very own. But more on that later. He also was an airman in the United States Air Force, although he eventually quit due to the fact that it conflicted with his liberal viewpoints. Although, to be more accurate, he was actually dishonorably discharged due to the fact that he refused to kill a rabbit for meat, which makes sense considering he's a vegan. Although it's also heavily speculated he was dishonorably discharged for stripping down to his birthday suit and flashing his commanding officer. He has a very close relationship with his mother, as she's appeared in several of his videos, although not much about her is known. In 2005, the massively popular online video sharing website YouTube was created. This inspired Onision to begin his journey to become a YouTube superstar. He has a total of 5 channels, count them, 5 channels with a collective 6.1 million subscribers across those 5 channels. I'll go through each of them quickly and tell you what they're all about. Onision, his main channel which was created in 2006, primarily focuses on sketch comedy. Videos like Circumcision Surgery and I'm a Banana originate here. Onision Archive is, as the name implies, a user archive for Greg's older works. Onision Encore is a vlog channel in which he vlogs about his life, although he doesn't upload there very often, so the content is very infrequent. Onision Speaks is an opinion-based channel in which Greg gives his opinions on various topics. This channel, out of all of his channels, is the one that has generated the most controversy. He often uses this channel as a talking point to defend himself and drum up sympathy when he's caught doing something that makes him look very, very horrible. Nate Talks to You describes the symptom as Onision Damage Control. And finally, Uh-Oh Bro is a channel in which he reacts to random internet trends and reacts to them in real time. Kinda like what I do with this channel. Thankfully, Onision hasn't tried to trademark the word react, otherwise I'd be in big trouble right now. Now that we got all of the boring setup out of the way, I know what you really came here for, and that is... Now, why does everyone hate Onision so much? Well, back in 2009, he first came to prominence with this infamous Murder Eaters video, where he publicly shamed and insulted meat eaters, decrying them as horrible, disgusting people that didn't deserve to live, and that veganism was the way to go. Don't believe me? Here's a clip from this fantastical, wonderful video to prove my point.
religion, animals are killed. Whoops, stop, you just mentioned religion again. Congratulations, your argument is pointless. Humans are supposed to eat meat. If you only eat plants, you don't get some of the vitamins and proteins you need. Try a fucking bowl of cereal, you twit. Watch the video next time before you comment. Find a new topic besides vegetarianism and racism. Christ, I'm so bored that I get close to unsubscribing. Unsubscribe now. Do it. Click the button. Goodbye. I am talking about life and death. I'm sorry you don't appreciate the life of other living beings, but I happen to. But trust me, as soon as people are murdering you genocide style, I will be there to back you. But until then, I'm gonna fight for something that matters.
The video generated tons of backlash, as many people felt he was just another self-righteous douchebag trying to force his opinions down everybody's throat. The backlash became so intense that he ended up deleting the video a day later, although thankfully a few people re-uploaded it. Which is a good thing, because arrogance and stupidity like that deserves to be archived into eternity like it was Christian. Anyways, let's move on. A year later in 2010, he ended up embroiling himself in yet another feud, this time with Shea Butler of the YouTube channels Shea Carl and Shea Tarts, and also co-founder of mega-popular YouTube MCN Maker Studios. The reason? Shea publicly announced on social media that he was getting his son circumcised. Onision was opposed to this, decrying circumcision as immoral and wrong, and publicly attacking Shea on Twitter, saying he was a horrible father. Of course, like with the Murder Eaters fiasco, it generated tons of backlash, so much so that he had to go on his Twitter to defend himself, stating that while he didn't mean for the matter to get personal, he wouldn't take back what he said about Shea getting his son circumcised. On December 25th, 2010, Onision and his first wife Sky ended up getting a divorce. And not long after that, he ended up going on camera to whine about the fact that he had to pay her alimony. You see, Sky had a regular 9-to-5 full-time job, but Greg forced her to quit that said job so she could help him out with his YouTube videos. As compensation for her sacrifice, Greg would pay her a portion of the revenue his videos would generate. But when their marriage fell apart, she suddenly had no source of income because she was entirely dependent on Greg. So she took him to court, the court successfully argued in her favor, and Greg was forced to pay her alimony. He described the whole situation as unfair, and that Sky was only doing it to be vindictive and hurt him, and that the whole alimony system was quote-unquote broken. In early 2011, he started dating Canadian singer Shiloh Hoganson, best known for her hit single, Operator, A Girl Like Me. Operator, operator, don't call me, I'll call you later. And while the relationship started off on the right foot, it soon sunk like the Titanic after a deluge of problems went on between them. Shiloh Forgot Me, where Greg claims that Shiloh lost her memory, Shiloh has sepsis, where Greg claims Shiloh is having seizures, and Our Child, where Greg claims Shiloh is pregnant. Although, all of these videos were later confirmed to be fake, which doesn't surprise me in the least, because Greg is a massive attention whore, and we all know this. But it's not time for my opinion right now, so let's move on. Greg was so in love with Shiloh that he literally told his fans to fuck off if they didn't like her being in his videos. Don't believe me? Here's a clip to prove it. It appears this video has been wiped off the face of the internet. I tried to find it, you guys. I really did, but alas, no dice. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it that this video did exist at some point, because it did. Anyways, moving on. After Greg and Shiloh broke up in the summer of 2011, he then dated another girl by the name of Adrienne Jorgensen in September 2011. And their relationship was a very, very, very short one. Adrienne described Greg as being very needy and desperate and would often beg her for sex. She also said that Greg forced her to do things she didn't want to do. Not feeling comfortable getting intimate with a man she barely knew, she quickly broke things off, which led Onision to send her a bunch of creepy, stalkerish voicemails, which is what inspired Drake to write Marvin's Room. Nonetheless, several people re-uploaded these voicemails, including myself, and it was directly satirized by Nate Talks to You in a video titled Onision Called Me. Hell, I even directly satirized it in the intro of this video, so I guess being a stalker really does pay off. He then got back together with Shiloh in November 2011 before they broke things off for good a month later. In 2012, he embroiled himself in yet another controversy. This time, Adrienne pretty much came out and said that Greg had raped her. And he made a bunch of offhand comments about it, stating that Adrienne had had sex with 20 guys before him and that she was quote-unquote a slut that deserved to be raped. Of course, like all of his other controversies, it generated a huge amount of backlash. So much so that people actually went to the lengths of starting a petition to get Onision banned from that year's VidCon. And eventually he was barred from the event, but not because of what he said, but because so many people hate Onision, and if they saw him in public, they would love to do nothing more than to kick his teeth in. So at last, the VidCon security couldn't guarantee his safety as well as the safety of all the other attendees, so they politely asked him not to attend the event. He directly addressed this in a video titled Parents vs. Onision. Also, in 2012, he married his second wife, Taylor Anderson, aka Lanybot. More on her later. And of course, I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention this. In October 2012, he made a video titled Rise Above Hate, where he basically tried, and I use that term very loosely here, to give advice to a suicidal girl, but in the worst way possible, by telling the girl that was suicidal that it was her fault. Of course, he got backlash, he tried to defend himself, you guys know the drill at this point, okay? Anyways, moving on. In 2013, Mr. Epsilon, one of my personal YouTube heroes, made a video to the parents of his new wife, Taylor, titled To the Parents of Taylor, Onision's New Wife, where he basically detailed basically the stuff Onision did in the past, his history, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Of course, Onision didn't like this, and had the video taken down via false flag, but thankfully, someone else re-uploaded it. God, I love the internet. Anyways, in addition to that, several snail mail letters were written to Taylor's parents, detailing about Onision. Taylor was really creeped out by these letters, and so accused Mr. Epsilon of sending them, given his history of making videos against Onision. Onision made a video targeted towards Daniel, basically calling him a desperate stalker that was obsessed with him, and also stating that he absolutely wanted nothing to do with him. Now this is all fine and dandy, except the fact that he got the wrong guy. Mr. Epsilon did not send the snail mail letters at all. It was another user by the name of Don't Stand So Close to Me that did. He's also another user that was notorious for making videos against Onision, calling him out on his bullshit. And everybody called him on it. Several people came to Mr. Epsilon's defense, including Shelby X Pones, KWeb TV, and of course, myself. This guy was mind-fucked so hard that he ended up privating that video they made against Daniel. Huh. Karma sure is a bitch, isn't it? He would then later go on to debate the users that had made videos about him, people like SomeGuy27, KWeb TV, Shelby X Pones, etc. And these debates were moderated by YouTube user Happy Cabby. Okay. I'm going to be quick about this. To put the debates like this, it's essentially like competing in the Special Olympics. Nobody wins. These debates were horribly unstructured, with Onision often talking over the people he was debating with and not allowing them to basically present any sort of arguments, and talking over them as if he was the most important person in the room at all times. But the one person that refused to debate him was Mr. Epsilon, stating that trying to debate him would not change Onision's point of view or way of thinking in any way. So he declined. Now, you know what I said that Onision wanted nothing to do with Mr. Epsilon? Well, when Mr. Epsilon politely declined Onision's request to debate him, he called him a coward. Yeah, because a guy that stalked his ex-girlfriend by sending her a bunch of creepy voicemails is calling somebody else a stalker that he wanted nothing to do with, and then when he doesn't want to debate you, you say he's a coward. I don't get that. But anyways, moving on. This guy was so fucking desperate to debate Mr. Epsilon that he debated a sock puppet version of him called Rep Sock. I'm not kidding. He actually did this. I would comment on how utterly fantastic it is, but honestly, that's been done to death at this point, so I'm not going to. That's when people had stopped making videos about Onision, because they'd realized no matter what they would say, Onision was not going to change his way of thinking. It's obvious that Onision was a lost cause, and he was essentially a crazy individual that needed help. So people just stopped making videos about Onision, yes, including myself. So that should be the end of it, right? Well, not exactly. Because recently, and I mean like a few months ago, He made a video titled "I Betrayed My Wife," in which he admitted that he had cheated on his wife by sleeping, and I don't mean he had sex with this woman because he didn't, I just want to clarify that, but by cuddling with her best friend. It was speculated that they were getting a divorce, although later came out to say that they were trying to give their relationship another shot by going to counseling. And there you go, all of the controversies that have surrounded Onision since 2009. But what do I think about all of this? Onision is someone that my dad would perfectly describe as wasted talent. And what I mean by that is, Onision is a person that had the potential to do something great, had the potential to change the world, and he squandered it. He's essentially Christian 3.0, as he has a collection of what is quite possibly, in my opinion, some of the most embarrassing and quite frankly disturbing YouTube videos of all time. I mean, he's gone through depression, he's gone through suicide, and instead of using what he went through in order to help people, he used it to abuse and victimize others, including the ones he loved, for nothing more than profit. And that's the thing with some of these YouTube celebrities. They're humble and gracious when they start out, but as soon as they start getting seduced by fame and money, they change their morals and core principles to start chasing dollar signs. I mean, that just never made sense to me. Onision is definitely a fascinating person to really research and figure out what makes him tick. And it's pretty obvious why he is the way that he is and why he acts the way that he does in his videos. And I'm certainly not excusing his actions. I mean, they're pretty deplorable, and I personally still think he's a repugnant piece of shit. That's just my opinion, and I still hold to that proudly, but researching Onision and finding out more about him gave me greater insight into why he is the way that he is. You know, and I think if anything, his story serves as a cautionary tale of why you should keep your private life private, because trying to intermingle your personal life with your online persona very often leads to disaster, and the internet is a very cruel place. They can chew you up and spit you out, and they can make an example out of you. Just look what happened with the Fine Brothers and the whole React World fiasco. So, you know, you just gotta be careful when you're dealing with the internet, because it is a very unkind place. Trust me, I know. The thing is this. The reason why he acts the way that he does is because he's desperate. Everything that he does is a move of desperation rather than greed. He's essentially the Jerry Springer of YouTube. He claims to detest haters and trolls when he himself is a hater and a troll. He has to keep stirring up drama and controversy in order to remain relevant, in order for people to talk about him, because digital media is such a cutthroat business that's built on fans that if he's not constantly pushing the envelope, he's going to be forgotten tomorrow and he's going to become irrelevant, and there's going to be 50 other content creators eager to take his place. So that's why he keeps ratcheting up the drama and controversy to the next level, so he can continue to profit and make money and also remain relevant. I mean, think about it. He tried to get TJ, aka the Amazing Atheist, to go on the Steve Wilkos show to create this fake drama war. If that isn't any indication that Onision is if that isn't any indication that Onision is a massive attention whore, then I don't know what is. But honestly, I hope that he gets help. I really do. Even though I absolutely detest the guy, I hope that he gets help. I hope that he eventually changes his ways and realize that, honestly, all the times that he was mean to people, all the times that he went after people, it's really not worth it in the end. And that's all he's going to be remembered for, is an internet lolcow. And that's truly sad, because he had the potential to do something great and to really help people, and instead he uses the pain and suffering of others to essentially make money, you know, and that's unfortunate, but I can't say I feel too sorry for him. And people wonder why everyone on the internet picks on him and gives him such a hard time. He does this to himself because he refuses to admit fault. He refuses to take any sort of responsibility for his actions, and given the fact that he's 30 years old, that's pretty sad, you know? Just, you know, researching Onision is definitely one of the most fascinating things I think I've ever done in the 9 years that I've been making YouTube videos. And even though I'm extraordinarily tired right now, it's almost 3:30 in the morning, I felt this was very important to give my opinion, to let you guys know where I stand on Onision. So, you know, there you go. But that's all I gotta say. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces. Stay frosty and keep it weird. Cue an outro sequence now. Whoa. I didn't expect you guys to still be here. I thought you would have been home by now. Don't mind that. That was just me getting my groove on. You can't possibly expect me to do Soflo Antonio next. I mean, that'd be too easy. You guys know I'm not a bandwagon jumper.
Do it! Just do it!
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, fine, fine, Chilova, fine, I'll do him. Soflo Antonio, I choose you!